Welcome to everyone, and welcome to all the parents and students as well. And of course, they're always happy to see, students from NIFT, to hear from you all, ask all sorts of questions. It is always extremely helpful. Okay, Dion, sorry, please go ahead and start.
Right. So welcome to everyone, and thank you so much for coming down here and attending this webinar. We are so happy that we could call some of our DQ students who have made it to NIFT Bangalore. So we have three students here. We have Nandini Sharma from the 2019 batch, and she's doing fashion communication at NIFT. We have Gayatri S, uh, who's doing her accessory design. Okay, and we have Siri Gauri, who is doing fashion communication as well at NIFT. So, firstly, thank you all for making it here. Thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure to have you guys at TQ Labs and now to see you all at NIFT. So yeah, so let's just start off with a few ice, kind of let's break the ice. A little formality. We'll get rid of that. Let's start off with Nandini, because Nandini is the most recent joinee to NIFT. So Nandini, can you tell us a little more about what your anxiety was before you got to know your rank, and then once you got the rank, how did you feel?
Okay, so I I think I did not have so much anxiety before getting the results. It was more of before the exam. But I think if you can't really do anything about it that much. It's just you can practice. And we obviously had this session was held last year. Yeah, last year when I was writing the exam as well. So the seniors that time they had given us tips, and I think those really helped.
Oh wow, okay. So good to be on the other side this year, isn't it? Yeah, not bad. And what about your experience at NIFT over the last 1 year? How has that been really?
So I think NIFT is a really nice place, and I at first, I mean, so I'm doing fashion communication right now, and it's great how you get to learn a lot of new subjects, and especially when you compare like I compare it to school, and I think everyone here is really creative, and the teachers also they guide you, and you get to explore a lot of new things, and yes.
All right, pretty cool. Right. So Gayatri, coming down to you now, you are in the second year of accessory design. So what's it like going from first year to second year? How is that different from the foundation year?
So first year is more like it's not a direct jump from DQ. So you still go through what you learned in DQ. You're taught how to sketch, the basics of rendering and basics of digital design. They basically touch up on all the departments. So accessories, they teach you digital, they teach you drawing, they have this course where you're supposed to explore materials that comes under accessory design. So we get to experience a little bit of each department, and in the second year you jump right in. So you just so I'm an accessory design student. So we started making products and sketching products. It's like it's a pretty big leap, but I think it's very exciting. I mean, the course is structured in a very good manner, so you don't feel like it's a even though it's a big leap, you don't feel like you're lagging behind. It's a continuous, you have this continuity, I mean, feeling of continuity. So yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. And what's so you said with accessory design you start to design products. So what are the
Yeah.
kind of products what do you mean by products?
So in Bangalore, we have you can choose between. Okay, I'm talking about a deepening specialization. You can choose between jewelry and furniture. So I chose jewelry, and we started to explore. I mean, so our teacher made us explore like brass wire, copper wire. So she's like, make what you want with it. You don't need to have a specific concept in mind. Just explore the material, have fun with it. So that's just jewelry design. But in general, that's one subject. So jewelry is one subject. Whereas we also have these other subjects where we're supposed to work with wood, and we also learned digital softwares. It's not just material exploration. So technical drawing, we're learning that, AutoCAD, to how to put your ideas so that other people can understand what you're trying to depict. So yeah.
Oh, all right, all right. Um, just a second. Right. So cool. Sri Gauri. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sri Gauri, so could you tell us what is fashion communication like in year two?
Okay, so like Gayatri said, it's not a very direct jump because you'll be learning the like fundamentals of digital design in your first year. For us, we had it in our first sem. So like you already are familiar with working on a digital medium. So when you go to second year, it's not exactly a continuation for us for fashion communication at least, but it's like a deeper understanding into communication. Now, this isn't like exact visual communication. It's more related towards the fashion industry. So they'll start teaching you like from the basics, and in your first semester, you'll just have like uh, a kind of introduction on different fields, and then it goes you learn more about it in your next semester and things like that. So it's like a gradual progress. So they kind of just touch upon everything and teach you different things, so you know where your interests are, and like what you want to specialize in. So that's how it has been as of now. Then when you go to your third year, becomes more specialized, and you'll start kind of figuring out what you want to do, or what you want your graduation project to be on, and things like that. So now it's just like covering everything. And
Okay, okay, cool. And how intensive is it? I mean, is it like a really intensive course? Is it like you don't have time for yourself? So is there a good balance between, life
that
and
actually it depends a lot on the subject, and it also depends on your work nature. So if you're someone who like plans the workout and does everything on time and stuff, then it's organized. Or if you're someone who does it at the last minute or things like that, then it'll obviously become more difficult. But yeah, there are times when different assignments kind of pile up and you have to like manage. But I think one thing I really love about this course is that so many subjects are related to each other. It's like it's not like you're doing like math in one corner and probably like art or something. It's like it's very related. Even our jury, sometimes like we have integrated juries where you have like a common jury for two subjects. So even though you have a lot of assignments, it's like you're kind of learning from each subject and incorporating what you've learned in each subject into another subject. So that way it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot of work, won't deny that. But yeah,
but it's manageable?
yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. Cool. Right. And what's the fun part of NIFT other than the studies? I mean, what is the good stuff there, City? Yeah. So what do you
yeah.
do for
So
recreation?
yeah, I mean, we do have college fests and like all these events, and we recently started this thing called Bilahari, which is like a morning assembly we do every month, where each department kind of presents something that's mindful and thought provoking. So another thing is like even the community over here, like you will find a crowd of other students from different departments or from the same department, different specialization, things like that. So you kind of just learn from each other. I think like in a design course at least, it's important to have a good circle, because you kind of get inspired from each other and influenced by each other, and you just connect and collaborate and work on different projects together. So that way it's fun because you get to meet a lot of different people. Like till now, like most people would have done their school and 11th and 12th in the same place. So you would have seen a lot of people from Bangalore itself or from wherever you are. But when you come to college, you find different people from different parts of the country and their behavior, their likes and dislikes. So you kind of learn so much just from them and, just by observing them. And there's a lot to pick up on just in the people. But yeah, other than that, fests and everything, going for fests, your freshers and all those things are common in every college. But in NIFT, this is what I specifically felt.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. So Gayatri, just building up on the, on the interactions that you'll have, like the fests and the competitions and all that. Um, how is that? I mean, do you all get a lot of exposure to participate in these things, to organize these things, or?
So they uh they encourage you to participate as much as you can. Like if you have extra time, participate. Like all our faculty, they want us to participate. It's the best. We are meant to have fun, like something other than design. Like maybe lots of people have hobbies, so you get to and you get to like do what you like during the first time. I mean, not that you don't otherwise, but it's a nice opportunity. So you get to connect with a lot of new people, especially in the fests. And my first year was really exciting because they had all these stalls. Also, you have this opportunity to open your own stall and sell whatever you make. So I thought that was really cool because during my first fest, that's what I remember walking through the stalls. Everybody had something different. So I know we connected by just talking to them and like, why did you make this? I mean, we all learn to appreciate what they make too. So it was just a nice, friendly environment.
Okay,
That's what I remember.
cool. And for these
College.
fests, so people come from other NIFTs or other colleges. Where do people come from?
So there's one fest that consists of only NIFT. So all the NIFTs around the country, and there's another one where it's a local fest. So all colleges in Bangalore would come to the fest. So there's two different fests. So yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Good. So Nandini, coming down to you, um, you know, how's it in terms of you building up relationships with, say, people from other batches? Like what Siri said, it's very important that you learn from your peer group. Do you get to interact a little with say your seniors or on different levels, or is it primarily within your batch?
No, it is not primarily within your batch. You do get several opportunities to interact with your seniors, and in fact, over here, so they offer different courses. So first of all, first there's the Bachelor's of Design, and then you have Bachelor's of Fashion Technology. In Bachelor's of Design, we have 6 courses, which includes fashion communication, accessories, fashion design. So there are a lot of streams here, and you get opportunities to interact with students from everywhere and students from all years. So you interact with your seniors, and that happens during fests and even in the regular college activities, such as Siri mentioned Bilahri. So yes, and they can guide you on your projects or your assignments. Yes.
Okay, cool, cool. Right. So, some questions coming in. A question from Vamika Jawahar. How are the hostel facilities? Any of y'all have any idea of the hostel facilities? Because all of y'all are from Bangalore, isn't it? Yeah. So did
Yeah.
y'all stay in the hostel or y'all didn't?
I stayed in the hostel during the first semester. So I thought it was better to travel after that. But I thought the hostel rooms were pretty nice. It does tend to get a little. I mean, it is a bit small, but you have a balcony. I thought that was really cool because you don't have balconies in like other hostels. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I think living in the hostel during the first semester, I made a lot of friends because of that. I mean, if I had traveled from my house, I don't think I would have met the people that I am friends with right now. So yeah, you get to meet a lot of people when you live on campus. But to me personally, I like traveling. I prefer traveling over the hostel. That's why I switched. But living in the hostel is not a bad experience at all. It was pretty nice.
All right, all right.
Yeah, so the room, like there are three people in a room, and like Gayatri said, it is quite a small room, but it's manageable. They give you two cupboards, like for three people. There will be three cots, and there will be a desk for each person and a balcony. And normally, what they do during orientation is that they set up like this stall kind of thing where they sell buckets and mugs and mattresses and other things that you would require for your room. So you could like directly purchase it from there and then shift it to your hostel room. It makes it more convenient. And the hostel is only for girls. It's like it's within the campus itself. So like going to class, like you could literally wake up like 15 minutes before class and just run quickly. So it's really convenient that way and all of that. But yeah, like some people like traveling, but I found it very convenient to stay in the hostel because as soon as class is over, you can go. Or if you forgot something in your class, you can quickly go back to your hostel and get it because it's in the campus itself. And they have a curfew and there are guards and everything, so it's pretty safe. So yeah, I mean, it's a good experience, and you do meet a lot of friends. It's really nice just staying with your different classmates and different people on the same floor and things like that.
Okay, okay. Um, so Sneha Krishnan is asking if y'all could give some guidance on the counseling process. What exactly happens once you get a rank? Then what happens? So any of you could take this. Probably Nandini, because you've been the most recent. You had the most recent experience.
Okay, so the results come out, I think in June. They came out in June this year, and you will get your common merit rank, and based on that, they ask you to choose a counseling center. So you can choose one of the NIFTs across the country to go to for your counseling. And in counseling, they basically there's a list, there's a live list going on a screen in front of you, and they show you the campuses available along with um, the design branches available in them, the departments like I said, accessory or fashion or fashion communication, fashion design, or accessory design. So you will see all of the departments along with the campuses available. And so the counseling happens rank wise. So the first ranker will give their preference, and they will get a seat allotted to them. And you can see that the number of seats will reduce gradually, and you can see what department and campus is available to you. That's how it happens. And then when your rank comes, you get to choose.
All right, all right, all right. Um, right. So Sneha, I hope is that clear? I hope that's clear to you. And if you want more clarity on that, you can always ask more questions. Um, hold on. Right. So I'm gonna with questions in a little order.
Okay, so maybe we can take up this question from Vibha Arvind. So Vibha Arvind has asked, do you get live projects through the year? Do you all get live projects? In fact, she's asked two questions. I'm going to split the questions into two. Do you all get live projects? If so, what kind of projects do you all get during your years in NIFT? Did any of you all get any live
Like,
projects?
can you specify like what exactly do you mean like by
A live project,
live
I
project?
guess, what Vibha means projects from outside, from the industry or something like that. I think that's what she
Okay,
means.
okay. Yeah, you don't get that like in your first year, you don't get anything like that, or second year also. I mean, in your third semester, I think it becomes compulsory to do an internship, and like the industry related part is mostly focused on your third and fourth semester. Fourth semester is basically you'll be working on your graduation project, which is like fully industry based. But till your second semester, college takes you to different industries, like on field visits and things like that, which are part of your learning, but you don't get work from the industry. But if you want, you can do internships and things like that. But college doesn't give it. I mean, it's not that you shouldn't do it or like anything like that. If you want to, you can, but it only becomes very necessary from your third year onwards. So first and second year, it's there's nothing like that.
But when you're in second year, so you get a lot of it's not necessary that you take them up, but you get, for example, this happened a month ago. We got an opportunity from Titan for some design contest. It's just you get emails. You can participate in them if you want. It's not a necessity, at least in second year. So, yeah.
Yeah,
You do
like you
get
get information on these things, like if there's a contest or if they need volunteers for an event or things like that, you get emails, but it's not compulsory from the college or anything like that. It's up to you if you want to go or anything.
Yeah, so basically it's up to you. Even if you want to go and take live projects on your own, you can, right? It always helps, yes.
Yeah.
So there's a second part to Vibha Arvind's question. She says, is there any internship opportunities with any brands? What kind of internship opportunities do you get? Are these internship opportunities like through the college, or do you have to do things on your own? Any of y'all could throw some light on that?
you
Yeah.
do.
So yeah, guys, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I can only speak for my department. I don't know how it works in others. So probably for Accessory, like Gayatri can talk about her department. So for us, at least, what happens is most of the time students will take up internships by themselves, like through different platforms like Internshala or something, and they just kind of for like what college does, what classes do is they kind of help you build your portfolio and skills for you to apply for an internship. But they don't really, like, again, I said, till the second semester at least, they don't like compulsorily make you do an internship or help you get one. But if you really want, then you can contact your professors, and your like professors will have contacts of different people, so they can help you get it. But as of now, like since we're still in our second year, we haven't really found the need to do it. I mean, it's not compulsory from college, but from your third and fourth year onwards, they will definitely, like, kind of get you connected to the industry and help you find an internship that is, like matching your interests or your portfolio and things like that.
Okay.
So for
Sorry, you were saying something, Gayatri?
so for accessories design, we have this portfolio in the third year. We have to build our portfolio. So it's not a necessity to do an internship before third year. So that, I mean, but if you do, you have this extra thing that you can put in your portfolio. So most people end up doing internships during the summer, the break between second year and third year. They end up doing internships between that time. And you also get notified through the college by certain companies if there's a position offer for an internship. So that, again, it's totally up to you. You can take it if you want. If you don't need to. But you do get some opportunities from certain companies through the college.
Okay,
In my
great.
department.
Great. Okay, so we have a question from Ananya DV. Ananya is saying, could you suggest how best to prepare for the situation test? Okay, so I'll let all three of you all answer this because each of one of you all can get some pointers. So shall we start with Nandini? Nandini, how best do you suggest you prepare for the situation test?
So I took my situation test coaching at DP Labs too, and it was and I think that really helped me because they gave us a lot of exposure to the different materials that come in the tests. I mean, the best way is to practice the past year papers, but I think the situation test past year papers are not available online. So, but you don't have to worry, because at BQ they give you the questions, and it is quite similar to what comes in the situation test, or it is as close as possible. And they give you different materials that you can practice with. Those materials are also the materials that we got in the situation test last year. So I think if you just attend your classes regularly and you take feedback from your faculty, it is good enough to prepare you for the situation test.
Okay, Gayatri, would you like to add to that?
Yeah. My advice to you is attend every single material handling class in BQ, because that helped me tremendously. So we got a question based on a past year. We got a past year question every single day, and we had to make it in class within the given amount of time, and we got the feedback immediately. And I think that helped a lot. It gave me a good idea as to what the situation test would actually be like. And so Rahul sir taught us the 2018 batch. So I think I enjoyed the. I think it was. It was just before the exam, 20 days. Attend every single class. I enjoyed the classes. They gave great insight as to what the situation test would actually be like, and it was. If you are serious in class, I'm pretty sure it'll really help you cracking the situation test.
Siri, anything you would like to add, Siri?
Yeah, so I agree with both of them that attending class is very important, because it actually does make you very familiar with the materials that you'll be using. And it's important to be familiar with these materials. And it's not like some extremely rare or out of the box materials. They're materials that you would have seen every day, like paper or wire, popsicle sticks or clay, or things like that. So, the most important thing is to be familiar with the materials, like know how it works for you and how it bends and its properties, how you can make advantage of them, because you don't want to be figuring these things out during your test, because you have only 2 hours, right? So these classes kind of help you, understand how you can play around with them and how you can use them to your advantage. And like going through last year's questions, you kind of get an idea of what kind of questions come in these things. So like you'll be familiar with the paper. Like I think the most important thing is to make yourself feel familiar, because you don't want to really panic during the exam. And like at least for me, I found the situation test to be really fun. So it's not something like a written test or something like that. It's actually really fun. Like when you sit through it, you'll be enjoying what you're doing. It's important to stay calm and not panic, so that you can really enjoy it. And when you enjoy it, you're obviously more creative. So another thing I would suggest is, like apart from like practicing and becoming familiar, is that during your test, right? So when you're at the center, then you get 2 hours to make your entire model or whatever it is. So most times, at least for us, they would I don't know what it was like this year, but they would normally ask you to give a write-up of your design. So I think that's really important, because like just in the worst case, if you aren't able to complete your model, then at least you can explain your design or give the concept or whatever it is, so that the examiner will understand your thought process, even if he or she isn't able to fully comprehend what your model is. So like try to practice in such a way that you finish your model by like 1.5 hours or 1 hour 45 minutes, so that you get those 15-20 minutes to just sit and write or give a brief about your model, because that is really important. Like you shouldn't like skip that at any cost. And if you can make a model interactive, I think that would be good, because most people think of only the aesthetics, but design is also about functionality, right? So if you can somehow incorporate something that moves, or something that you can lift, or just make the examiner feel like they can interact with it, then I think that would be a good bonus for you. But once you get the materials, just look at everything you have, and don't kind of like crowd it, and just look at everything and just start working. Don't need to panic. It's actually really fun. So yeah.
Okay, that was very good. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Uh, how's the infrastructure at NIFT? Any of y'all can answer the basic infrastructure. Maybe they're talking about the labs, the libraries. This is from Mehak Otswal. Can any of y'all talk about the infrastructure? Your basically your labs, your libraries, or the whole support structure that y'all are getting in NIFT Bangalore. Would you like to answer that, Gayatri? Start
Yeah,
off, I
so
mean.
I'm in the Accessories design department, as I mentioned before, and I think the labs are very well equipped, and you get all the tools that you can dream of in order to create what you want. There's no compromise in that. So I think the labs are very well equipped. Last year, during the first year, we were all of us worked in the fashion design and knitwear design labs, and I also think those were very well maintained and they had really good equipment. So there is no compromise when it comes to infrastructure. I think it's really nice.
How is the labs for fashion communication? Because I was just Siri and
So we
Nandini.
don't exactly have, I mean, we have like a computer lab and we have a photography studio. So we don't have like what fashion design or knitwear design kind of has. But these are also really good. Like we all like there are 2 floors of it, and there's one room for the photography studio, which has your lighting and all of those things. And even the labs are really good. Like they have all the softwares. And but generally what happens is most people prefer to work on their own personal laptops, but like the college systems are like accessible if you need it. So initially when you're doing digital design, like in your first semester when you're learning it, like most people will start with doing it on the system itself in case they have not installed the software on their laptop yet. And yeah, it's good. I mean, like there are projectors if you need, like when teachers need it, there are TVs for like PowerPoints and things like that. We also have a good library which is very like underused, but like a library has a lot of reference books and things like that if you just want to go and like read up on a topic. We also have all the promo still collections of different years. And even the campus, like it's like I wouldn't say it's one of those huge campuses which is like a whole like a mini city, but it's like a small compact class, which is it's nice in a way. It's so connected, like every floor is kind of connected to each other. It's easy to move around from one place to another, and even the location of our campus is very convenient. Like there are 3 stationaries to go buy materials and take printouts, and there are parks and HSR to just go sketch because you'll need to do a lot of sketching when you come to college. So even the infrastructure, like in the college and outside the college, like I think it's in a great place. And it's like you get everything. You get literally everything you need in and around college. So it's very convenient that way.
Okay, Nandini, is there anything you would like to add to it? Nandini? Okay, it looks like there's some problem with her connection. Okay, so okay, Sneha, well, there was another part to her question. Nandini, can you hear us? Okay, okay, I think there's some problem with her connection, so we'll get back to her. Okay, Sneha Krishnan, there was a second part to her question that she asked. This is to do with counseling, okay, with the your admission counseling. So what she's saying is, for the first round, if you select a center, and for the subsequent rounds, when vacant seats arise, can you change your center? Can you change your center in round 2?
Yes, you can. If another person from that, suppose, okay, for me, I chose accessory design Bangalore first. So a seat in Mumbai opened up. I could have taken it in second counseling if I wanted to. So NIFT on the website, they'll after the first counseling happens, they'll put up a list of people who have withdrawn their seats from other centers. So if they have, during the second counseling, you have to apply for it, and then you can take the seat if you want it. Only if there's an availability and someone has backed out from the first counseling.
Yeah, and also even after you join college, we have this thing called SPT where the similar thing happens. So, but that is now this will be dependent on your performance and things like that. So, if something like that, like if a seat opens in a particular course in a particular center, and after joining, like after completing your first year or first semester, whatever, if you want to change centers, then you can apply for a SPT. So what happens there is just like second round of counseling. If it's open, you can take it, but they will give preference to people based on their performance. And it's very rare that this happens. And like you shouldn't, like, you know, it's not something you can depend on, because even the courses and things, it's very rare, but it's still an option. But the best thing you can go for is a second round of counseling. But I think if that, like when you apply for it, then your seat will open up. So there's something like that. So you have to like really think twice before you apply. You can't just like simply apply for it.
Okay, great. So there's another question from Vibha Arvind. She's asking about the interdisciplinary courses, okay, as in the courses between departments, okay, or minor courses. Can you all give us some information on interdisciplinary courses?
Okay, so I was torn between taking fashion communication and accessories design. So I chose accessories design. You always have an option to pick any department that you want. So including, suppose you are doing bachelor's of design, you can pick a minor that's from fashion technology too. So every department that's available in your campus, you can pick whatever minor that you want. I mean, whatever department for your minor. So, yeah, it's the but one thing is to be kept in mind. This is a first come first serve basis. So you have to choose your minor when you finish first year and you're starting the second year. So it's a first come first serve basis. So you gotta be quick. That's the only thing I have to say while picking your
Yeah.
minor.
So what this interdisciplinary minor, or we call it IDM. So what it is that they want students to kind of have have knowledge on other courses also, or kind of learn what is being taught in other courses. So many people might be confused, like probably during the counseling you'll be like, should I take fashion communication or fashion design or something like that. You're kind of torn between two courses. You want to learn what is offered in the other course also, but you also want to do this course. You can't do both, right? So what they do in this is that one of your subjects will be called an IDM, interdisciplinary minor, and in that you will be allowed to pick another course. So if I'm in fashion communication, I can't take fashion communication obviously, but I can choose accessory design or knitwear design or textile design, or even like fashion management or fashion technology, which are not in the bachelor's of design course. I can choose subjects from that and learn about them too if I'm interested. I mean, it's not if I'm interested, like you have to take one, but you have the option of taking any of them. So like mine is retailing, which is offered from the fashion management department. So this way you kind of, you can expand your skill set with many courses, and people who are kind of conflicted which course to take, can consider this. So like they don't have to worry, because they also have this option wherein they can learn about the other course. So it's important, like when you're choosing your course during counseling, if you're kind of confused between two subjects, like if you're confused between textile design and like say knitwear design or something, think about which one you like more, or which one you really want to specialize in, and you can take the second one as your interdisciplinary minor. So it works like that.
I think that's very important information that you all just gave, because like you mentioned, so many students are confused between which branch they. Sometimes you want to take fashion design, you want to take fashion communication, and I think this is a great opportunity. These minor courses or these interdisciplinary courses where you can even experience and sample subjects from other departments. So it's a great opportunity for students to take advantage of. What about you, Nandini? Are you thinking of taking subjects from next year, next semester?
Yes. So right now I am so I will have to choose an IDM next year. So am I audible?
Next year. So
Yes.
am I audible?
So I'm deciding on what I would take.
Yeah, they'll give a small program where they explain each IDM course and what comes under it. So it's not like it's nothing to worry about in your first year or when you're choosing your subject for counseling and things like that. So they will cover that when you join college and you'll select it in your second year. So during counseling, that's not something that you worry about. But again, like just don't be conflicted between these two because you always have the option of learning another course.
Okay, great. That's really nice to know. So we have another question from Vibha Arvind. Interesting question. Do students get to interact with other colleges across the globe in terms of exchange programs? Who would like to answer that?
So,
Yes.
does anyone else want to answer? Okay,
Do you want to answer?
so okay, so
Gayatri,
there
go
are a
ahead.
lot of exchange. Hello.
Yeah, Gayatri, you can
So
start
you
first
speak.
and maybe the Siri and Nandini can add to it.
Okay. So depending on your department, you have each department has their own exchange programs. So in order to get, I mean, in order to be in order to apply for this, you need to have a good CGPA in college. It's very important to have a high CGPA. If you're aiming for a semester exchange program, you keep this in mind. You need to have good scores in college, and there's so in my department, it's not just my department. So there's also, other than exchange programs, this is 1 year associate's degree that FIT offers, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. So I applied for that. So it's a 1 year, it's a degree that you have to go to New York for 1 year during your third year. And so while you're graduating NIFT, you will have both. It's a dual degree program. So you'll have one from New York and one from NIFT too. So I mean, I don't really know about the other exchange programs in my department. We haven't got them for this year yet. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this. So, Siri, do you have any knowledge about FC
Yeah,
exchange programs?
so fashion communication, to be frank, like the subjects or the exchange program topics, so it's kind of segregated into what course you want to do, like what course you want to do when you're applying for the exchange program. And certain programs are open only to few departments, like something will be open only for fashion design students or text media design students, things like that. So for fashion communication also similar, like the same thing. We haven't gotten all the list of everything, and I don't know what it's going to be like now. And I don't know what to COVID-19 and things. But it's we have exchanges in like new merchandise exchanges and I think design thinking. That's what I have so far. They change every year, and they'll take another seminar uh, about the colleges that are offered, and like students who have gone for exchange programs will also come and kind of present what they did for that entire semester and things like that. So it kind of changes, it kind of varies year to year. So it would probably be relevant after you have joined.
I think Gayatri, there's some back echo coming from your. I think Gayatri, there's some back echo coming from your. You can put your speak mute. Speak mute.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Siri. Please go ahead. Could you just go ahead?
Sorry,
Siri. Please go ahead. Could you just go ahead?
I just like agreed with what Gayatri said. So we haven't got the list so far. So the list of colleges kind of differ year to year. And again, like she said, you need to have a very high GPA. Like they'll take only based on like the top performers. So for fashion communication, at least, we mostly have exchange programs in visual merchandising and design thinking. So I don't know what the colleges are going to be like this year because of the whole pandemic. But generally, like we fashion communication is kind of what I would say it's actually good. We have good college exchange programs, but the topics uh like the topics you can study in those colleges are a little limited. So again, this is just right now. It'll obviously like more colleges will keep adding on year by year. And before you like, they'll take a session on the different exchange programs, different colleges that are offering, and students who have gone for these programs will also come and like present what they've done and what their experiences were. So like again, like what I say now can definitely differ for Nandini's batch or for the next batch. So these things keep changing year by year.
That's really good information. Jigyasa had asked a question. Okay, this is regarding your situation test number 2. Jigyasa is saying, do they look for anything specific in the write-up or just a basic explanation of the model? So this is to do with the situation 2 test. Her question is, do they look for anything specific in your write-up that supports your model, or is it just a basic explanation of the model? Okay. Nandini, would you like to answer that? For your write-up in your situation test, is there anything specific in the write-up or just a basic explanation of the model? Would you like to answer that, Nandini? Or, I mean, all three can answer, but maybe we can
So
start off
when
with
they give you the separate sheet, yes. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes, Nandini, you are.
Okay, so when they give you the separate sheet to write your write-up, they don't ask for anything specific, but I would suggest that if you can use that space to actually describe what you've made in a good way, then you can definitely use it to your advantage. So they will not ask for it, but if you can provide it in that given space and you can highlight all of the details of your product that you have made, then it will be good for you.
Gayatri, would you like to add to it, Gayatri?
Yeah, I think you should take advantage of the fact that you can actually explain what was in your mind while you made your the product or whatever you did with your materials. So explain your concept. You don't need to focus on your language, but make sure that make sure your handwriting is legible first of all. Secondly, don't panic. Just it's I know this is a very basic exam tip, but maintain your handwriting. Don't start out neat. Like a lot of time. Give yourself some time. Finish your test, like Siri said. Finish your test 15 minutes earlier. Have a whole 15 minutes. Write it neatly. Write it. You don't need to focus on language. Focus. Make sure it's not bad, but it doesn't need to be exceptional. Language doesn't need to be exceptional, but write exactly what you thought, and don't be afraid to say. Don't like just write all about your product, like even the tiny details. Don't be afraid to put that in. Just I think you should write whatever came to your mind.
Siri, would you like to add to that or anything
Yeah,
else
so
extra?
like I said, it doesn't need to be exceptional language. It's not a creative writing thing, right? But you do need to write it neatly. The presentation matters. And they just ask you, like the question will literally be like, describe your model or write about your model or something like that. So they'll not ask for anything specific. But what you can do is, you can kind of like segregate your write up into first you can probably talk about what the like whatever topic it is. Like our batch, my topic was a store for a makeup and cosmetics, something like that. So you can talk about how your how your model kind of fits into the topic, how it's related to the topic. Then after that, talk about its functionality. So like I said, everything in your model is not, it's not supposed to be a fully aesthetic model unless the question is like that. So if it's like something that involves functionality, then explain the different parts of your model. Like if you have this was a store, right? So if you have made this garden area for something, or a particular doorways for something, or like stands, whatever it is, then explain those things, explain the details of your model. And lastly, you can talk about why you have used this, but like suppose you used popsicle sticks to construct XYZ. So you can talk about why you used it, or what colors you used, why you use these colors. So what they're looking for is like kind of an explanation or a reason as to why you have used these particular things. It shouldn't be something random or just for the sake of aesthetics, right? So if you can elaborate on what your thought process was while constructing the whole thing, and explain why you have used these colors, like again, color psychology, which you would have learned in the classes, you can talk about that. Like anything, literally anything that gives a more insight into your model. Like you have to understand that the perspective of the examiner will not match your perspective. So anyone would not have the same thought process as you while you are viewing the model, because you're the creator, right? So you would understand it better. So right, as if you're explaining it to someone who is seeing it for the first time, something like that. So you kind of have to just indulge them in your thought process and help them see the model the same way you see it. So you're not audible.
Sorry, my mic was on mute. Um, yeah. So Mehak is asking, does NIFT provide an opportunity to participate in fashion weeks, all the fashion weeks that's conducted in the city, or what? How does NIFT participate there? The Bangalore Fashion Week or anything like that? What are the
I
different
think at least
participate?
not for my batch, but they uh, what they do is they ask for volunteers. So these are like intense volunteering things. So it'll be like 2 or 3 days and things like that. So call like not for our batch, but for our seniors and stuff, it's happened. So they'll ask for a few volunteers, and people who are really interested and good at it can like apply, and they will be able to like experience the whole thing, like from behind the scenes to how the models are styled and how the garment is draped, everything, and to the runway. So it's not always like uh, it's not always fashion specific. It could even be in the uh, what is it, the organization part of it. But this is what I have, like last year also we had got this message, but it was only for our seniors. So it's not something that you would probably expect in your initial years of college, but because they would obviously want someone more experienced to help them volunteer, and it will also become relevant to you only in your like second or third year. So you do get, you for Bangalore Fashion Week and stuff, seniors have gone and volunteered for backstage and things like that.
Great, great, good to know. There's a question here from Subramanian Mikala. Sorry. Okay, I hope I got that right. If you do fashion communication, do you get the same title as a graphic designer from visual communication? Maybe I can answer that question. Like, let's say, for example, if you do fashion communication and you do visual communication from some other institute, well, your degree is you've done like BDes fashion communication from say a NIFT, or your BDes visual communication from communication design from another institute. But jobs, a lot of these jobs overlap. A lot of these jobs, like say for example the industry I've worked in, even though it was an industrial design department, there were a lot of fashion designers also working in our department, and you can change in your masters, so it's quite open. So yes, on paper your degrees will remain different, but it all depends on your internship, your portfolio, how much work you do in the industry, and you can always change and modify. So the answer to that question will be, you maybe if you have a degree from fashion communication from one institute, or a degree from visual communication from another institute, you could literally end up working in the same department. A couple of years down the line, you could end up doing the same thing. Okay, it depends which direction you want to go. So any of you all want to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree with Sir said, because I literally had this same doubt before joining fashion communication, whether it's going to be completely different or whether I won't be able to get any opportunities in visual communication or graphic design or things like that. But it's really not that different. Even in fashion communication, even though the course sounds different, it's fundamentally almost the same. A lot of people in my college, in my department, still work on, graphic design or photography or UI UX design, or things that you would otherwise see in a visual communication course. And even in fashion communication, you have a thing called deepening specialization. So you can either opt to go in depth to the fashion creative side, the fashion media side of the course, or if you want to focus on visual communication, you can opt for that. So it kind of depends on where your interest lies, but you won't be like losing out or missing out on anything from visual communication if you take fashion communication, because you will literally be learning most of the same things and you'll have the same skill set and things like that. So don't kind of, don't let your decision be influenced by this thought that you're going to miss out on something if you take a course that's titled something different, because I had the same thought, but it's really not like that.
Nandini, are you there? Nandini? Okay, looks like Nandini is having a
Yes,
problem.
yes,
Would you like to add to that, Nandini? Is there any other point you want to add to that? Being a fashion communication, like basically a difference between a fashion communication designer, a visual communication, or a graphic designer. What's the difference? What do you feel is the difference, and what do you think are the
okay.
opportunities?
So I'm studying in first year right now. So my answer might not be, as good as Siri's answer, but from what I've heard from the faculty, it's very much overlapping, and you have more or less the same skill set as a graphic designer, and the field that you work in, from what I've heard, it is the same. You end up working in the same field, and a large part of it does depend on your personal skill set, and how much your skill is in software, or yes.
All right. Sean, I'm just going to launch one poll just to get an idea of the people who are attending this.
Okay.
Yeah, for a few minutes, for a few more seconds.
Okay,
Just
there's a
one.
poll open. All of you all quickly, you all can just look to the right. It's they use.
We'll see it on their screen. Okay, I'm going to close this in the next 5 seconds. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
We're on the topic of, like you said, some computer. They teach you a bit of computer software, as well as we were talking on labs earlier. There was a question related to that from somebody. Basic. Okay, I don't know. Can't find that question. Yes, from Mehak. Do they teach you computer-aided design at NIFT? Basically, what do they teach you? What are the different kind of computer software? Accessory design, you might need a little more, model making software. But even for fashion communication, what is the different software that they teach you? Gayatri, would you like to start?
Yeah. So during our third semester, that is the starting of our second year, they didn't start off with digital like software. So we had this particular subject called sketching and rendering, where we were encouraged to use sketch digitally. That's Autodesk Student Autodesk Sketchbook. Yeah, that's the app that we were asked to use. It was not necessary, but it was just another software that you could use in order to get beautiful rendered sketches. But this semester we're actually learning AutoCAD for technical drawings. So just product drawings. We're learning the basics of AutoCAD right now. So yeah, that's the only in accessories design, the second year. That's the only digital platform that we're learning right now.
And what about for y'all in fashion communication, Nandini and Siri? What kind of software do they teach you in your curriculum?
So in your foundation year, you will have a subject called digital design in which they cover Photoshop and Illustrator. So you will be learning like the fundamentals of these two. Again, in this, they don't really like take you in super depth, but they just what would I say? They give you the basics of everything, and then later you need to explore on your own. So that's kind of what design is about. The college gives you basics and you explore on your own. In your second year, like you'll have for fashion communication, at least you will have subjects like publication design, in which you will start learning InDesign, like mostly Adobe softwares only. And you'll also be knowing Photoshop and Illustrator from from your last year. So like you'll be able to, like if you want to make illustrations or graphics or edit photos or anything. And later when you have photography in the next semester, then they'll start kind of introducing you to Lightroom and things like that. But we also have we have a subject called store design and like visual merchandising. Also we use AutoCAD, and like what they do is there isn't a specific class for this, but they do a thing called a floating major. So it's like an optional class. It's not compulsory, but these are the classes where they teach you the softwares that are going to be used, like InDesign and AutoCAD will be taught in those subjects. So only if you opt for that, you'll learn it. So in like in case you know it already, then you don't need to opt for it. But for the students who don't know, they will be able to learn this in detail. And also if you want to learn Illustrator or Photoshop or anything in detail, then you can opt for these classes.
Summarize that, there are different kinds of software that you learn. Generally, like say graphic software can be like a raster software or a vector software. You can go online and kind of learn the difference between a vector software and raster software. Just to give you an understanding, a vector software, if you zoom in, it doesn't get pixelated, right? So ideally for your publication, and it's very much used. So it depends. Or if like say you want to do like you said, visual communication or product or accessory design, you need to make products. So that's where kind of software where you're doing products is something that you learn. I mean, all depending on whether you're in fashion communication or what you're really interested in. Okay, but bottom line, definitely part of the curriculum. So Sejal has asked another question on portfolio. If you have designed a dress, can you add it to your portfolio? Does it impress or influence the examiner? I think the answer to that is there is no portfolio for
documents.
Dion, can you put your mic on mute, please? Dion, yeah. So the answer to that is there is no portfolio. There is no interview for to get into NIFT. It is just a situation test where you go to the exam. You're given the question paper, you've given your materials, you have to make your model, you have to draw, you have to write up about it, and that's about it. You go. Nobody's going to talk to you, or you cannot get a chance to explain to anybody. So whatever you explain has to be in your paper in the form of either how you draw, like how all three of them mentioned earlier. Sometimes you're not able to finish your model perfectly, or you're not able to communicate exactly what you want to do in your model. But however, if you draw it, some people will understand what you meant to do. Okay, and you get the bonus points for that. And of course you have to have a write-up, as and they've already spoken about the write-up, like what they said, optimize. That's your chance to perform. Give them all the information that you can possibly give, things like that. Okay, so answer to that, Sejal, is there is no portfolio, there is no interview for NIFT. Okay, not for other don't get confused. Other colleges have, but NIFT at this point of time does not have. Okay. Dion, do we have more time, or Dion, are we running out of time here?
Sean, yeah, we're almost we've crossed by 5 minutes. We can take maybe the last one or two
Let's
questions.
maybe one or two last questions. Okay. I'm just trying to see any one or two questions I can take. Okay, Shri Ravi, can you share the names of colleges for exchange programs? Maybe not now, but maybe we'll try and get a link of all the colleges that that are there with the exchange programs. I'm sure it must be on the NIFT website. Maybe we can get it and send it to all of y'all. We can do that
Yeah, we
later.
can send it across to you.
Yeah, okay, maybe yeah, you can just send it to us if you got access to it, or we can search for it and send it out to everybody on your WhatsApp groups. Okay. Okay, are there any recommended laptops for fashion communication? Okay, that's a bit of a technical question which goes into laptops, but as long as you have a basic laptop, see, only if you're going to do heavy rendering or heavy animation do you require a high-end laptop which does a lot of calculation. Basically, what's really heavy on your system is animation, rendering. Yes, so if you're going more into product design or accessory design or animation, yes, but maybe fashion communication is you don't need such high-end hardware for it, right? It all depends what you want to. Or if you're a person who's going for graphic design and you have interest in animation, then yes, maybe you need to get yourself a high-end laptop. Okay. Uh, okay, we take this last question here from Vibha Arvind. With all this extra time that people have right now, okay, what specific skills would be beneficial, or what specific skills should you hone towards the situation test? Interesting question. So that's going to be the last question, which I would like all three of you all to answer. So maybe we can start off with Gayatri would like to start, and then we go to Siri, and then we'll go to Nandini. Okay. So the question once again is, there's a lot of time now. What are the skills that you should focus on, or you should, what are the skills you should hone or develop for your situation test? Okay, Gayatri, shall we start with you?
So I'm pretty sure you have a lot of newspapers at home, just day-to-day materials that you are familiar with, like that you use on a day-to-day basis. So my advice is just take it and start exploring. Just do. I mean, I think you could maybe pick up a past year question, which I'm sure that's available on the internet. Just pick a situation test question, NIFT situation test question, and just take a few materials, whatever you can gather at home, and start working on that question. So work on your time management. That's very important for the situation test. Just experiment with as many materials that you have right now. Don't go out, be safe. Just like, I'm pretty sure you have extra earbuds lying around, just crazy materials that you wouldn't naturally like think that could come to you during like the materials that I got for the situation test was literally a spool of thread, foil, paper, different types of paper. So just basic materials. I'm pretty sure you have all these at home. Just explore with them as much as possible. That's what I would say.
So Siri Gauri.
Yeah, so yeah, like I know it's a little difficult to go out and get new materials right now, but yeah, like she said, you can go around. Most materials you will be able to find in your home, like paper or cotton or clay. If you don't have clay, you can even use like atta. So just gather a bunch of these materials, and what you can do, like if you feel like if you don't have materials right now, or if you just don't know where to start or what to do, probably take up one materials. Like suppose you start with paper, so give like 2-3 days just to work with paper, and you can go through different those DIYs or origami tutorials. So paper can be folded in like a million different ways. So if you know how to make basic shapes, like if you know how to make a cube quickly or a prism or whatever it is, then that'll really help you, right? So you shouldn't be figuring out how to make this into a cube during the test. So you can start with like these basic forms of 3D shapes, because the whole model, the whole situation test thing is going to be 3D, right? So you can start with learning how to do that, learning how to fold paper into like decorative things, and paper cutting, all of that. And similarly for clay, you will have tutorials on how to bend it, uh, how to mold it and things like that. So Pinterest is really good, honestly. Like you can go there for inspiration on how people have used materials or unconventional materials to make different things. So like right now I know it's difficult, but you can just if you can access YouTube or Pinterest, or those DIY craft channels that come on YouTube. If you just go through them, you'll find a bunch of ideas and inspiration. So you can just try, learning from it and making things from the materials. So don't start, like if you haven't started yet, don't directly jump into making an entire model. First learn how each material works and its properties, and how to make basic things. First learn basic things from each material, basic 3D shapes, folding and things like that. And then you can go into making models from sample papers or past year papers and things like that.
All right. Okay.
Nandini, would you like to add to this, please? Go ahead. From your point of view, what do you think how students can make best use of time now during this lockdown time? How best they can hone their skills specifically towards the situation test? Nandini, are you there? Could you hear me?
So, like Gayatri said, yes, I can. Am I audible?
You're audible. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, like Siri and Gayatri said, you can use this time and watch YouTube tutorials on how to use materials. And while you cannot go outside to get new materials right now, it should not be much of a problem, because the materials you can find at home will be the ones that, I mean, the materials that you get in the situation test, they are everyday materials like paper and foil, sometimes maybe popsicle sticks and small bits of cloth. So the thing is, the materials that you get at home, well, if you practice with them, they will give you good enough experience for you to go and perform well in the situation test. Plus, it's not like they give you a lot of material in the situation test, it's just small quantities. So if you have practice of working with the small quantities and utilizing them efficiently, then you should be able to perform well. And of course, like Siri said, you can use this time to browse for inspiration and practice and explore with different materials. Yes.
Basically hone your skills on materials first, like they said. Like say for example paper, make sure paper comes in different variety. You get newspaper, you get regular, your bond paper, card paper, so they come in different thicknesses. Tissue paper. First learn your fundamental skills for each material, that is paper, straw, sticks like your ice cream sticks, textile or cloth. So get your basic skills first, like also Siri pointed out, learn to do basic shapes, wire, so basic geometric shapes. So learn the fundamentals first, okay, because that really helps you. And then the second stage is to kind of see how you play with all of them and put them together as per the intent of the question. Work on your speed. You need to work on things fast. You need a lot of practice. Things don't come easily. Also, you should learn, you should also develop your sketching side by side, because you have to draw your models as well as you have to have a small write-up about it. So all together are all skills that you can develop. I'm going to have classes myself that I'm going to start taking online. These are like your final test classes. I'll be launch them shortly. Should be this week. We will send you a message where all of y'all, I will take your material handling classes, like how I did it last year towards the end. Okay, so thank you so much, Gayatri, Siri Gauri, Nandini. It was really nice of you all to come share your experience. It's very valuable for all the students who are getting into who are going towards their exams, or get choosing a school, or going through the process that you all went through. Okay, Dion, would you like to add to it?
Yeah, I think it's been a brilliant session with everyone. I think there's a lot of learning and a lot of tips, and also, like you said, in a lockdown period, how you use the alternate materials. All these things are simple but very, very important tips for everybody here. But thank you all so much for coming here, and it's been brilliant. Okay. So for the students of DQ Labs, the current batch will be brilliant if you all keep participating in all these events that we are having. There's more webinars to come. Probably for you guys to know, next week we have our students from IITs and NIDs, so everybody coming in. Okay, so right, so thank you once again, and we'll be ending the presentation, the webinar now. All right, thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Nandini. Thanks, Sri Gauri and Gayatri. See you all. Okay, bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay.